Suicide is the third leading cause of death among young people.
Two-thirds of our children use an illegal drug by the time they finish high
3 in
school.
10 teenage girls become pregnant at least once.
When you send him out on his own, will he have the strength to beat these odds? Even though you try to give him everything, your child needs the values and sense of self religion offers. Your church or synagogue can help, because you haven't given them everything until you give them something to believe in.
Brought to you by Religion and American Life.
We are back at Texas Stadium where it is halftime, and Irving MacArthur out in front of Euless Trinity in the first round of the UIL State High School Playoffs, 7-3. And the Cardinals getting the touchdown late in the second quarter. We're very happy to be able to bring you this broadcast tonight in the first round of the playoffs. Gerald Stavely, 1 hour Martinizing and dry cleaning. Has been with us throughout the season. Irving Community Hospital as well. Your well-being is our concern. And by Sawyer Sporting Goods. The Irving High School and the MacArthur High School booster clubs helping in our sponsoring. And we're very happy to welcome a new sponsor. Headquarters, Haircrafts Unlimited, 1316 South Story. We thank very much our sponsors enabling us to bring you the game tonight. Once we give you the statistical breakdown, there's a look at it, and you see how the Cardinals have dominated in the first half in total yards, certainly in rushing, much of that behind Reggie Finch, who is up to 74 yards. And of course, passing, Trey Shoemake has been the favorite receiver of Toby Richardson. He has the touchdown, and 193 yards to just 73 for Trinity. They have 3 points, and they got that on the field goal after the fumble. 5 of 7 for Richardson tonight, 1 of 5 for Schultz. And fumbles, you see the Cardinals have fumbled it twice, one of those leading to the Trinity field goal, and Trinity with a fumble as well. We'll give you how it scored here in the first half. Brad Riddell, the son of head coach John Riddell for Trinity, getting the Trojans on the board first. This is 26 yards out. 2 minutes and 2 seconds to play. And the 26-yard field goal gave Trinity the 3-0 lead. That was after the fumble at the 44. But now the Cardinals, who drove all the way down, and at the 10, this tremendous play, a tip by Bryce Reynolds into the end zone, who would have had all day to run if he would have been able to hold on to it. This is from the ground level. Look at that, right off his fingertips and into Trey Shoemake, who has 3 catches in the first half. 3 catches for 32 yards and the touchdown. And there's Chris Henderson, who has only been able to kick it 1 extra point, and he would have been coming on. That was a 3rd down play, by the way, on the touchdown when Shoemake scored, and they were at the 10. Obviously thinking if they did not get it into the end zone on that play, that Henderson would have come on to try to tie the game up at the end of the first half, but they were fortunate to get the tip. Max Turk. Cardinals like playing here at Texas Stadium. Did very well, of course, against Trinity a year ago in BiDistrict. Talked about that at the start of the game. 16-7, Cardinals winning here in November of '85. Also playing at Texas Stadium back in '83, but not so fond of memories that time as the Trojans beat the Cardinals 35-13. Darren Arterberry, who has 32 yards, you see, in the first half, and some of that, and well, most of that has come from the tailback position. He normally starts at the wingback when Finch is in there, but we have mentioned that Ray Overton has said that he will play Arterberry at the tailback some tonight, and he has quite a bit there in the first half, giving Reggie a rest. Arterberry has produced quite well. Brad Canals, the fullback, has 5 carries for 14 yards. Look at the Cardinals, who have the 4-point lead, and as we expected, it was going to be a defensive matchup. Both of these teams played very good defense. And we talked about offensively how each team had only seen that type of an offense once. The I formation from MacArthur, Trojans had just seen it once, and the wishbone, the Cardinals had just seen it once. Prior to the game, John Riddell had said that he expected it would take 3 or 4 touchdowns to win this game. might be thinking a little bit differently now after the defensive showing in the first half. He had said he thought that his team needed 2 or 3 touchdowns a week ago to win their season finale, regular season finale. So we'll see if the second half changes any. Reggie Finch certainly a key to the Cardinal attack, as he always is. He had a slow start. He only had 4 yards in his first 4 carries, but then got untracked and had a 15-yard carry and a 12, as well as the big 30-yard gain there in the first half, and he's up to 74 yards. The Cardinals will get the ball to start the second half, and they will have Finch, Otterberry, and Quincy Edwards will be deep to receive in their traditional 3-man deep. Now, the only time that the Trojans have kicked for the night, they have kicked it away from Reggie Finch. We'll see what they do this time. Riddell will be the kicker. There's a look at the Trojans sideline. Brad Riddell, who does all the kicking chores for Trinity, not only the punting, but place kicking as well. Had the 26-yarder, pretty good kicker, soccer-style kicker. And his 26-yarder had plenty of room to spare, so they may call upon him later on tonight. All right, second half ready to go. To bring you the play-by-play, Bob Berry.
Thank you very much, Brian, and we're all set as Riddell approaches the ball and kicks one down toward Darren Otterberry. Darren has it back across the 20. Stutter steps across the 25 and comes up to about the 29-yard line. First and 10 for the Cardinals on the 29. You might remember the last time Otterberry took a kickoff, he ran it back to the 27. Then the Cardinals moved 73 yards for the only touchdown in this game. Let's see if history can repeat itself. Otterberry returning this kick to the 29. Finch and Knaus are the running backs. Toby Richardson at quarter. From the I formation. The ball to Reggie Finch. Looks for a block, gets one, then just puts his head down and cruises his way out to the 35-yard line. A gain of 6. A sweep picking up 6 yards for Finch. And it's 2nd and 4.
Chris Germany, the tackle, enabled that to go for the Cardinals. They have a super offensive front, very big, very powerful, but quick feet, and that time Germany helped get the block turned inside for Finch.
Germany, a senior, 215-pounder. 2nd and 4 play for Irving MacArthur. Look at that Knaus go. First down and then some. Across the 45, out to the 47-yard line goes Brad Knaus, a pickup of 12.
Nothing fancy about that play. They went straight forward. The quick hitter, and that worked so well for the Cardinals because the defense is key so much on Reggie Finch, and he is such a tall back, and Knaus gets down so low that it works very well. There's just a quick hitter and super blocking inside as Burnett turned it inside along with Carter.
He had a great hole to run to, didn't he? First and 10. The ball again to Knaus as he hurdles across the 50 and is down to about the 47-yard line. A pickup that time by Brad Knaus of 6 on the play. Spotted on the 48.
This is the vintage Cardinal offense. They really like to grind it, as do the Trojans from the wishbone, but Cardinals really like to run the ball with Finch, and if Knaus starts to pick up some yardage, Finch should be that much more dangerous.
Shoemake and Johnson are the receivers. This is Johnson coming in motion to the far sideline. Reggie Finch gets the call. Oh, he's off to the races. Tremendous hole as Reggie is inside the 35 down to about the 33-yard line. A pickup of 15 yards. Finch has now run for 95 yards.
Well, he's got to credit that offensive line for some super blocking. Mark Gibson, Lynn Carter, and Chris Germany over there on that right side, really opening the hole, and a lead block from Knaus.
Blocking is the name of the game, and that's what the Cardinals are doing right now. Their offensive line really clicking. Again, the call to Finch, going to be hit and dropped for a loss of 1 yard. Coming in, putting tremendous pressure on him was James Bowen, the right outside linebacker. A loss of 1. They're trying a power sweep to the left. And had Finch been able to get some running room, he might have really picked up some distance, but Bowen denied him that opportunity. We have two wide receivers split out to the right. Johnson and Trey Shoemake. Shoemake, remember, with the touchdown catch. Richardson in some trouble. Going to be hit and dropped before he can come back to the line of scrimmage. Has good penetration put on that time by James Bowen once again. Richardson dropped back on the 36-yard line.
By that time, he wanted to go deep to Hillman Johnson, who was down the right sideline, but very good coverage by the Trinity defense. Vondra and Reynolds, along with Baker deep, had Johnson covered, nowhere to go.
Do the Cardinals put it in the air? Richardson with the deep drops, got a man open, and he hits him, and then the ball is dropped. It's Trey Shoemake, who on a post pattern was open on the 23-yard line. Had he been able to hold on to the ball, that was a first down.
Well, they hit him right in the numbers. Shoemake, who had run a nice post pattern over the middle, was open, and Richardson did a great job of laying it right in there on his numbers.
John Bryant back to do the kicking. Trey Shoemake thinking, oh boy, if I could have only held on to that one. But he'll have other opportunities. Bryant now just looking for a soft kick. He doesn't want to boom it into the end zone. Gets it up high. And it fades and goes out of bounds. Let's see, on the 26-yard line is where they're going to spot the ball. Well, that's a kick of just about 10 yards.
Yeah, not exactly what he wanted. He was angling for the flag over there, trying to be a little bit delicate with that kick, and pulled up short.
A break for the Trojans. They are not pinned down deep in their own territory. They have reasonable field position. They're down by 4 points, 7-3. The handoff this time goes to John Skinner, and he is met quickly, and a flag flies after the play, so it looks like a dead ball foul. The officials now conferring, and one of the Trojan players says it's going to be called against the Cardinals, and it is, grabbing the face mask.
Not really sure who that was against. Scott Carpenter was on the bottom of the pile for the Cardinals. The face mask, that's a tough call there, because they had Skinner to stop for no gain.
So instead of 2nd and 10, the Trojans have a 1st and 5. Those penalties can hurt you and at the same time can help you if they're assessed against your opponents. Obviously, they hurt you if they're called against you. 1st and 5 for the Trojans on their 31-yard line. Darren Schultz is their quarterback. Here is the counter play with the handoff going to Sonny Pitcher. They faked to the fullback and then came back to Pitcher, who carried it out to the 34-yard line, a gain of 3. 2nd and 2 from that point. Cardinal defense really, Brian, has looked very sharp. They have contained the Trojans.
They've done well against the wishbone, which is a tough offense to defend against because of so many options. Schultz under pressure, got a man open and overthrows him. He had Weaver floating out from the backfield, and he was open on the 40-yard line, but Schultz just overthrew him. He had Ned Delane right in his face and had to unload it in a hurry, and he did a nice job of really just getting the ball because they had tremendous pressure over there.
Boy, Ned Delane has played some game. He really has. Actually, that's a good call by John Riddell, simply because if the pass was incomplete, which indeed it was, you still have only 2 yards to pick up on a 3rd down play. Schultz gives the ball to the fullback, who dives, and he does not get the 1st down. That is Weaver, who just gets across the 35 out to the 36. I believe he should be short by about half a yard. Well, they give him a good spot. They spot it across the 36.
That'll be close. They are going to call for the measurement here. And with the spot that he did get, they might have it by the nose. We'll see.
Yeah, they've got it. They've got the 1st down. Weaver produces the 1st down. And that is the Trojans' initial first down here in the second half. 7:29, the clock rolling in the third quarter. The Cardinals of Irving MacArthur in front of the Trinity Trojans by a count of 7-3. Brad Riddell split wide to the left. Quincy Edwards, the defender there. Schultz's pass incomplete, as again he was trying to hit Weaver on a crossing pattern.
And who else did he have but Delane and Ferguson? Heavy pressure on Schultz, and he just had to dump it off in a hurry. That is one thing that they've had Weaver out there in that flat, but Schultz just doesn't have time to throw it because of the pressure.
And Weaver has been open on both attempts. He has outrun the defender. But as you mentioned, Schultz is just really throwing the ball for his life. You know, get rid of it quickly before I take the loss. Schultz on a keeper, grabbed from behind and dropped on the 40-yard line. That time Schultz on a set play had blockers in front of him, but a Cardinal defender infiltrated the blocking wall and grabbed Schultz around the ankles and brought him down after he had picked up about 3 yards. 3rd and 7, a big play here for the Trojans. Obviously also a big play for the Cardinals. Riddell comes to the near sideline, and there is Quincy Edwards right up against him again. That's been quite a matchup thus far in this game. Here is Schultz going to carry the ball, and he'll get absolutely nowhere. Maybe a yard or so, but he needed 7.
Well, the Cardinals did a super job of playing the option that time, and one of the first things you have to do is to force the quarterback. Got to make him make a decision whether to run or to toss, and they had so much pressure up there so quickly, Schultz could only just take the ball and tuck it.
They really contained him well. Edwards and LeMaine are the return men. Brad Riddell, who's gotten off some good kicks, wants to do it again and does. This time's the Quincy Edwards. Edwards making the handoff, now runs up and is dropped on the 30-yard line. They fake the reverse to Delane, and Edwards carries it back to the 30, where it will be 1st and 10. So credit again that Cardinal defense with stopping the Trinity Trojans dead in their tracks.
It's another look at the punt return. The Cardinals having a play on the return. It is the fake reverse, and Edwards had a little bit of blocking up front, but pretty good coverage down there by Trinity.
Edwards returned it for about 8 yards. Now we're back live. Reggie Finch twisted down, gets maybe about 1 yard. Boy, that's the way to stop any kind of a running back. Just grab them around the ankles and down they'll go. And that is exactly what happened on that one. A gain of 1 for Reggie.
Reggie is up to 16 carries, 93 yards tonight.
Michael Hicks, the defensive right tackle, in on that stop. 2nd and 9. The ball on the 31-yard line. Cardinals operate out of the I formation. Here is Richardson rolling with all the room to run. 30, 35, big gain here. 40, up to the 50, all the way down to the 48-yard line. In Trinity's end of the field. That just opened up beautifully, and Toby Richardson, who is a fine athlete, took advantage of it. That's a gain of 21 yards and a 1st down.
Well, we had talked at the start what a great runner he was, that he had over 500 yards rushing for the year and a 4-yard carry. Well, this is a quarterback option all the way, and he had run written on. He got a nice block by the center, Mark Gibson, to get 5 or 6 more yards.
The pitch out goes to Reggie Finch, running in trouble, and down he goes on the 45. Didn't get much at all. It just threw his body into one of the defenders, driving the defender back, and then Reggie hit the terra firma. A pickup of 3 and 2nd and 7. This is Ray Overton football, control football. Darren Arterberry coming in. Reggie Finch limping a little bit as he comes off, and of course that's bad news for the Cardinals. He's had that bruised knee throughout most of this campaign. This time Brad Knaus gets the call. Brad to about the 43-yard line.
There's a look at Reggie trying to loosen up that knee. She has really battled in and out. Has had a great night, closing in on 100 yards, but that knee now starting to bother him a little bit.
Reggie's just walking down around the sidelines, walking pretty briskly. 3rd and 4 for the Cardinals. Arterberry and Knaus, the running backs. Darren Arterberry hit right about the line of scrimmage. No gain. And the Cardinals going to bring on their kicking team. So hats off here to the defensive unit for the Trojans.
Yeah, the second half off to pretty much the same way the game started. Teams exchanging punts. Very good defense.
John Bryant to do the booting. Baker, the return man. Good high snap. The rush on. Bryant gets it up. The ball starts fading at about the 30-yard line and bounces back toward the Cardinals. Goes out of bounds on the 33. So again, just a 10-yard punt by Bryant. Boy, those things can kill you. He's punted twice now in this half. On both occasions, the ball is carried for just 10 yards. It hangs up there in the air and then just starts dying and then bounces back.
And those people have the right idea.
They really do.
Chilly out here tonight. 2 very short punts by Bryant, now giving the Trojans yet good field position again.
Off to the races this time, B.J. Weaver. Good run by B.J. Close to the 43-yard line and close to the first down. And I believe they're going to bring in the chains. There you see them working on Reggie Finch, retaping that ankle. Boy, a trainer is worth his weight in gold in this game.
Especially on a night like tonight. You got to be careful for a lot of pulled muscles. Very cool night. You got to be able to make sure that you stay loose. Now, Reggie's been battling that problem for some time. The sticks stretched and they're a little bit short. So they give them about 9 yards on the carry.
Sometimes that is an advantage when you have 2nd and inches because you can really gamble on this play. Maybe go for the bomb or go for something other than a 3 or 4 yard gain type play. Realizing that if you don't make it, you still have 3rd down and inches. We're inside the 3-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter.
Might see them try something here on 2nd and short. I don't know. They're in the wishbone.
Schultz rolls to the right, looks downfield. He's under pressure and is going to be clean down on the 34-yard line. A loss of 9 on the play.
Well, you mentioned that with the short yardage that it's a good time to try to throw something. And they had 3 receivers deep, but the Cardinals had super coverage. And the front 4 pressure has just been unrelenting. Who else back there but Delane?
Yeah, Ned Delane, number 47. When this game is over and Schultz takes off his uniform, I think he's going to have 4-7 tattooed on his body. Boy, Delane has really played a game. I mean, he has been all over this field, certainly making the life of one Darren Schultz unbearable. 3rd down. Cardinals show a big rush. Here comes the blitz. Schultz gets the ball off. The pass is underthrown and incomplete. The ball intended for Sonny Pitcher, running step for step was Quincy Edwards. Actually, Pitcher had a step on Edwards, but the ball was underthrown.
Yeah, he really did. He had got behind Edwards, and if they would have had a little bit on that, that could have been a big pickup, maybe a score for Trinity. But Schultz just doesn't get enough on this one. He had his man out there a step behind Edwards, but underthrows him.
Brad Riddell again to do the punting. He has done this so well tonight. Cardinals set up the return. Here's another nice high boomer. LeMay, the ball carrier, to the 30. On to the 37-yard line, and very nice return by young Mr. Mel LeMay. LeMay takes it out to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, a sensational return, man. He was buried back about the time they tried to get the fake going, and he did a lot of this on his own. You mentioned Riddell with another super kick. He turns it over and almost right there, and then he breaks a couple of more tackles before he staggers on up 5, 6, 7 more yards.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals from their 37-yard line. Reggie Finch back in the game. Good news for Cardinal fans. That's Reggie with the ball, turns the corner on the right. 40-45 will cover the midfield stripe.